everyone! How's it going? Hey, Eduardo, thank you for following. I am doing well. How are you all? Hi, Eduardo. Chinmay, thank you for coming back, Chinmay. Hunar, who just popped in for a second, but good to see you anyway. I hope you're all doing great. Welcome to day 26. Oh my god. Almost towards the end of February season 2. How are you all doing? What time is it where you are? It is 9:40 here. 9:40 in the night. Also, I have a slightly different camera angle today. I'm experimenting angles of the room and this beautiful moon-like projection. I like it so much. It gives me a very zen vibe. I hope you like it. Also, how's the sound? Is it too loud? How's the music? Hey, Hunar, good to see you. I knew you would come back. 4 p.m. here in Australia. Oh my god. Where in Australia are you? How's the sound sounding? And how's the music sounding? Let's do a quick test. 4 p.m. here in Australia. Oh my god. Okay. I think sound is good. At least on Twitter. At least on YouTube. And then Twitter. Oh, Beastverse, thank you for following. Time to go for reels. Adelaide, oh, that's so cool. I have never been to Australia. I really want to go. Okay, I think it's sounding good on Twitter as well. For those who are on Twitch, let me know if it's sounding good. Aditya, how's it going? Sound is sounding great. Great. Sound is sounding, music is musicking, projector is projecting. Hope you're great. I have a 3:45 alarm and I need my sleep. Why do you have to wake up so early? Oh, this music is nice. Hey Ryan, how's it going? Day 26, I know. Day 26 already. Can you believe it? We're almost at season 3. Season 3 is gonna be fun. In season 1, we did some AI apps. In season 2, we've been building the UI part, the React part of it, adding TanStack. We added a lot of TanStack stuff actually in season 2. In season 3, we're gonna go back to AI, and in season 3, we're gonna build AI agents. This is gonna be so much fun. Do you set up like the light and PC and stuff? Oh, do you wanna see it? I would love to do it. I actually wanted to film that this week, but then I was like, who would want to see my setup? I have like webcam for my stream. I use my iPhone for my video. I was like, who's gonna see my setup? So I didn't stream it. I didn't film it, but let me know if you'd want to. This lights is really cool. It's actually my living room lights that I set up here because I really like the vibe, the calming effect, even when I don't have it, or something cool about this, okay? When I'm streaming, I have this behind me, right? But when I'm not streaming, I actually project it on the roof like that. And then I can just like lie down on the floor and just look up and play like some nice, beautiful meditation music, and it's so calming. I just like literally lie down on the floor. I don't even have a couch here. I just lie down on the floor, on the rug actually. But I really like this lamp, and I can link all of this actually in the next video that I make. This kind of thing. I work events at my local sports arena and they have high school basketball tournament going on for 2 weeks. That's pretty cool though. High school basketball tournament. Nice. Okay, then you are excused, Honor. You can go and have a good sleep. We want you to be in your best shape for tomorrow's event. Aditya, congratulations on crossing 3K subscribers. Thank you. Ek cup chai yahan bhi. Yes, on Friday we're going to 30 a.m. my time, which is, what is that, 12 o'clock India time? So maybe not chai time for you, but come and join me anyway. Start at 7 and it takes me an hour to get there. Where is this? Which high school? Where? Would love to see the setup. Okay, cool. I'll do a video on it. Okay, I'll do a video on it. Oh, Langley. Okay. Hey, Sneh Patel. I think I'm seeing you here for the first time, Sneh. Is that right? Dhanesh who? Welcome back, Dhanesh. Also, if you're a first time viewer, say first time. Otherwise, say seasoned. Tell me if you're joining me for the very first time. Meanwhile, I'll find some other music. Jha, welcome Jha. What's up? Do you think you'll ever host a meetup in Seattle? You are in Seattle, is that right, Eddie? Definitely first time. Definitely Hunar's first time. I've never seen Hunar before. I am not a regular. Absolutely not. I'm new. Good to see you, Danesh. You are in Seattle, Eddie. I am actually in Seattle too. So we can definitely host a meetup. Okay, folks. Actually, let me know if you're joining here for the first time, because I want to know how deep of a rundown I should do of the code that we're going to do today. Now, my goal for the next 2 days, actually we only have like 2 more live streams left after this for February, is to wrap up this app, finish all of the features we've been doing, and put it in a state so that we can do the next part of the series. And then in the next part, I am gonna be at Epic Web Conference, which is gonna be in Utah. So if you're coming to Epic Web, come and say hi to me. But in the next part of this, I'm gonna actually start working on the presentation for that, and I'm gonna walk you through as I build it. So season 3 is gonna be divided in 2 parts. One part is gonna be building that demo for that conference, and then the second part is gonna be building an AI agents. Hold on, let me put the music down in case it's too loud. So first part, we're gonna take this app and we're gonna make it accessible. So in my demo for my conference talk, I'm going to be talking about how when we build web apps, we actually don't really think about accessibility. It's often the last thought. And then I'm going to show you how the app that we've been building over the last 2 months, how accessible it is or how poorly accessible it is, and how we can fix it with very simple things. But then also what would be a good accessible experience, so you can think of it from the get-go itself, so you're not like slapping in accessibility as a last thought. That conference talk is on March 26th. March 26th. Let me double check the date. Is it March 26th or 27th? Epic Web. Also, for those of you who know Ken C. Dots, this is Ken's conference. Epic Web Conf. March 2026 is the day when I'm gonna have to present this. So my target is to get this talk done by March 12th. So we have 12 days of doing that. So we're gonna build this app. We're gonna do a accessibility pass, and then we're gonna see how to make it accessible in the first 12 days. And then in the remaining days, we're gonna build an AI agent with Convex. That is gonna be really fun. I'm so excited for season 3. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is because in the next two live streams, not including today's, we're gonna wrap up the app that we've been doing. So speaking of which, let me switch over to the app to show you what we've been building. Okay, what is the chat saying? Any plans for coming to India anytime soon? If I come to React India, that would be the only time, but no other plans right now. Let me know if you do meet up in Vancouver or other area in this side of Canada. Hunar, you can totally drive down to Seattle. It's so close to you. Next year is my final year. A bit worried about placement. Oh no. I am sure you are gonna do great, Tanish. Let me know if you need any help. Hi there, new sub. Hey, Beast Wars, how are you? Good to see you. Where are you joining us from? Hey, how do you think when you design or structure database, data flow design? Database or data flow design? So database. Okay, I'll talk about data flow design first from a front end perspective. I think the big things on the front end side is how you're gonna bring in data on the front end and how you're gonna store that data. And then when a user interacts, how you're gonna keep that data. And once the user reloads page, navigates between page, how you're gonna refresh the data if you need to. So those are some important considerations. I actually, in one of the streams, I talked about how data is going to flow and which of these things we're going to render on the server. In one of these streams, I'm going to see if I can find that stream. So that would be something that I would look at. In terms of structuring the database, actually, I'm a front-end engineer, so not the best person in talking about that. But what are some good resources for structuring database? There is God of Saints videos, which I don't know if you've seen. He's like a lot of system design videos, which I love. And I actually really like watching his videos just for system design, backend design. So I can recommend this. And then the live stream that I was talking about is gonna be in this. I know that's a long playlist, but I'm gonna try to find. Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. This might be the right video for talking about data flow on the front end side. So I hope that helps. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Oh, that is so sweet. Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate it. For a second there, I was like, wait, I thought you just followed. And then I saw. Oh, I do know basic MERN stuff and build basic CRUD applications, but when I try to build a complex app like appointment scheduler, my brain lags. Okay, I think for that, system design is probably going to be your best friend. So read up that. But also, here's another resource that I would recommend. Actually, no, not this. This one, greatfrontend.com. So this is technically for interviews, but their problems, and I think you might. Oh, look at that cool animation! You see how it's kind of like what is that, like inclined, and then as you move it comes in. That's a really cool animation. But this site actually has really good system design, and not just like backend but also front end. And I think a lot of system design doesn't talk about front end a lot. So I really like this site. I know it's for interviews and it's paid as well, but I think they do have some free system design questions. Highly recommend this even if you're not looking for a job. And I believe you can do some projects. Yeah, like look at that. You can build a plan section. You can build a block card. Highly recommend this site. It's a paid site, but it's really good. Externity UI. Is it? Oh. I love that it says featured by popular YouTubers. Oh, do they have that effect? That would be so cool. What is it? Incline effect? There it is. Container scroll animation. Oh, that is cool. That is really cool. Nice. Hey Tanishk, welcome back. Good to see you again. Alright, shall we get into it? Let's wrap up our UI. So just as a reminder, in case you haven't been, actually if you're joining here for the first time or you haven't seen this app in action, let me do a quick demo for you. So I'm going to reload this app. Here's what we do, okay? So we have this app where you can look for your house in Seattle by just typing in text. You can say something like looking for a 4-bedroom house in Seattle in the range. Right now I have it kind of hardcoded to Seattle, but you can totally extend it to other apps as well, like other cities as well. In the range of, I will say 600 to 120. Okay, let's just hit that, okay? There's a little bit of weird UI effect where the banner kind of shrinks, but we'll fix it. Okay, what does it say? So it found some properties. One thing that you'll notice is that it actually doesn't find properties that are exactly in the range. Like this is a little bit over your range, and this is kind of bit over your range as well. But anyways, what it does, it'll find you properties that are kind of matching the specification you said. And so it'll say like 5 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, so on. 12 bedrooms. Wow, I really want to look at that property. And then you can hit the like button or the dislike button. So if you hit the like button, we generate recommendations for you, basically more properties that match the thing that you liked. And we show you more properties at the bottom. Now, I think the recommendation properties functionality might be broken, because of which you don't see the recommended properties at the bottom. But we have implemented pagination here. So if you click on load more, we actually show you more properties. And what we're doing is we're not fetching this over and over again. So we only call the API once. We store that data on our front end side using TanStack router, using TanStack query. And then when you click on load more, we like slice the data out and show you the next few items. This way we are doing pagination, even though our API does not support pagination, or technically can support pagination, but we are not using pagination from the API. We built like a pagination feature on our side. So that is this UI. Now there are some features missing, like if you click on like, we actually are not showing you the recommended properties at the bottom, or we would like to actually show you the properties here itself. So that I want to add. Then another thing is if you click on this, it should show you the property details page. So some critical features are missing. That's what I want to tackle in the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and day after. I want to wrap this up, bring it at a point where I can make it demoable for my conference app, and then we're going to start making it accessible. By the way, how does chat search query works? Like you are given prompt like ChatGPT would like to know the data flow. Oh, sure. I think I did that in another. Actually, if you watch that stream, the one that I just linked, I kind of talk about how the stream, the data flows. But quickly, I will share. This is how it works. You type an English language sentence, right? I think I might have like the architecture diagram of it in Keynote. Hold on, let me see if I can open Keynote. I could have made it in Excalibur, but I was like, I'll just make it in Keynote because that will be helpful for future when I give a talk. Okay, I'll show you this in here. Okay, so this is what happened. This is the UI on the right side. Ignore that it doesn't match the current UI, but basically there's a search bar at the top, and then hold on, I can't see the chat. Okay. There's a search bar at the top, and then when you type something like I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, we send it over to, this is the user typing, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, we send it over to the client side. This is the client, okay? And then the red line here is kind of the interface between the client and the server. So after this, everything is happening on the server side. So what we do is we send this query over to our URL called API/parse properties. And this is what we do in the URL. In the URL, or on the server side, we use the natural language that the user, actually, you know what? Let me move back here and make this maximum. Come back here. Now I can click on it. Hopefully my cursor is visible. Okay, cool. So the API/parse properties on the server side, where we use the text that the user had given and then send that natural language over to our LLM API. We created this LLM API on this stream, so it'll be linked in that playlist as well. We created this LLM API, and basically what the LLM API is doing is it's using the natural language, which is the English language text, and it's converting it into JSON. And the way this does this is we call OpenAI, send our English language text, and ask it to format the text into a format that we provide. So format the English language text into a format that we want it to look like, which is something like this: bathrooms, bedrooms, starting range, ending range. And so it literally gives back this JSON text here, which you can see right here. So it gives us back price ending, price starting, bedrooms, bathrooms, nice to have. So it gives us back that. So what that helps us do is we send this JSON over to our Zillow API, which is the real estate search API. And then in Zillow API, we're actually asking it to give us a property. We're doing like a search, and we're asking for these parameters. And then the Zillow API gives us back this property, actually an array of properties. I think it's giving us back like 200 items. And each of those would have like a Zillow property ID, which is here: bedroom, street address, features, and price. And then we send that over to our client side, which is where we're storing this in the cache, which is where TanStack query comes in. It's storing it in the cache. And then the data that we're storing is all of the properties and the search input, so that if you don't change the text, we don't reload it. So I hope that helps. But if you want a detailed walkthrough of that, that will be covered in the playlist as well. So like I said, some functionalities it's missing is that detail page and the recommended list. So I actually want to click on when I click on this we generate recommendations, which is also here. So the way we generate recommendations is when you click, when you like a property, we send the property itself. So we send that over to the server side. So this is again happening on the server side. We use the LLM API, for us it is OpenAI, to generate embeddings. Let me know if you don't know what embeddings are, but basically embedding is kind of a vector representation of the data that you sent. So we send it this like JSON blob, and then it gives us back this embedding, which is actually the vector representation. So it sends us back a 200 OK, and then once it gives us back and we're putting all of this information in Convex, which is the database we're using. So then we put this information in the database, and then we also store any property that you've liked in the database. So based on that, we actually show you more properties by doing a vector search on the properties in the database. So we send an embedding over to the database, ask it to do a vector search, and then it gives us back more recommendations, which is like a list of properties. Now, this is the bit that we need to show right now. So far in our stream, we have been able to get the property IDs back from it, like the actual database ID of the property itself, of the item itself. But what we want to do is we want to use that ID and get that, do a query to the database and get that property from the database, render its image, things like that. So that's what we're going to do now. There is, as you can see after this red line, a lot of the stuff is happening on the server side, and there's a lot of places where we can do server components or we can do server rendering to make it better. We haven't done that bit yet, but that will be in one of the future streams as well. All right, what's the chat saying? Hi, Ryan. Good to see you again. Abraham. Hey, Abraham. I think I'm seeing you here for the very first time. Abraham. You're so great, teacher. Ah, thank you. Hey, enough. What cool usernames. What do you think of the use contact hook? Use contact or context? Now I feel I have brain. Thanks for answering my questions. Why not use cache hook? Use cache hook. You mean from React Query? Hey Dinesh, how's it going? Good to see you again. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get the recommendation property going. I'm going to delete this stuff. I think I'm okay with like how the UI looks. I know it can be improved a bit. I know there can be interactions added, but for now, let's keep going. So let's move this out of the way. Don't save. Oh, the VS Code theme. Oh, yeah. This is the Night Owl theme. Hold on. I think it's the Night Owl theme, right? Theme. Yeah, I have the Night Owl theme with the italics version. One Dark Pro is another one that I really like. One Dark Pro Darker and One Dark Pro. Also a fan of Monokai. But the one that I use is Night Owl. I think somebody else also asked that question on a YouTube video, and I have to remember to send that. If you have a very heavy data sets, let's say all of the listings in Seattle, can we fetch all of it and store it locally to improve performance? That's exactly what we're doing actually. So we are actually using, let me show you. We are using the infinite query from React Query, which does the same job. So it fetches it once, saves it, and keeps it in the cache unless cache is invalidated. For us, that cache invalidation key is the search input. I like Dracula. Oh, let me check Dracula. Which one? Dracula, this one? Oh, it kind of looks similar to One Night. What is the name? One Night Owl. Oh, except it's a little bit more pinker. Nice. I have also customized this a bit, like the menu bar at the top I've customized. Okay, let's keep going. What do we have to do? We have to do the recommendation thing. So we've got render properties here, which we're not filling in. Okay, so we got recommended properties here, properties listing. If this exists, then we should be listing this. So let's open properties listings. I don't know why this is not listing. I'm going to open this guy here. Render properties. Okay, and then I'm going to inspect this, go to my console. Set recommended properties is not a function. Okay, where is that coming from? Set recommended properties. We've got properties listings. Properties is recommended properties. Why do you need to set recommended properties? Huh, interesting. Why am I doing set recommended properties? Okay, if I like this, what happens? Okay, reload this. Okay, try an example search, click on this. That's a weird effect. I don't like how it does that, like a banner shrinking thing. I don't know why that is happening. Okay, set recommended properties is not a function in handle like. Oh, okay, I know where that's coming from. So that is happening. Handle like. I see. I know why this is happening. Are you in industry or a freelancer? I actually work at Slack. Hi, Ikamjot Singh. How's it going? People can smoke in casino? What? All right. Wrong chat. I was wondering. I thought so. Oh, you can't even see the screen. Hold on. Let me make this smaller. Oh, okay. How's that? Might be better. No worries. Why do people smoke in the first place? Okay. Okay, what was I doing? Right. Set recommendation properties. Okay, so what's actually I see what I'm doing here. I think all of this used to be in the same component, but now that things have moved around, we are putting the recommended properties here, fetching it from here, but then setting recommendation properties and property details. And actually, we don't need to do this here. So property details does not need to generate recommendations. Handle like saves a property and it's actually doing two things. So let's get it out of here because that is not good. So we've got handle like and then we've got handle dislike. We don't want to do that. Okay. Now what does property details do? Property details renders a property card, which makes sense. And on like it provides an on like and on dislike. And then on like and on dislike, it will just save the property with the preference of true or false. That makes sense. That is basically all of this property card, this property details card. So what else? Set recommended properties. Let's delete it from here. I don't want to send it over to this guy. Okay, generate recommendations. We don't want to keep this here as well. What is this render properties doing here? I think we don't need this render properties function, so I'm going to get rid of this. Then what else do we have? Okay, this is where recommended properties is. So this is where I'm going to fetch for recommended properties. A get properties from natural language function. She's currently at the casino with my mother-in-law, and she mentioned secret smoking was bothering her. Oh, is she at the Tualip casino? It's really bothersome. It bothers me a lot too. Okay, I think I know what I want to do for this recommended list. First thing, what did I delete from here? I'm just going to paste it back in here. Recommended properties. And then for this, I'm actually going to create a function called recommended properties. And then I'm going to create a component called recommended properties. New folder. It's called recommendations. And then I'm going to create a new component within this called recommendations.jsx. And then this is going to be recommendations. And add import here. Okay. Alright, help me out here. Get rid of this, return this. Now, where is this recommended list gonna come from? So first we say if recommended properties is null, then no. If this is null, then return. If there. Otherwise, and then I'm gonna add const alrighty, and then oh, Emerald Queen, okay. I want to develop a website, so I want to learn web development. Should I do JavaScript first or HTML and CSS first? Can you be my mentor? Which code editor are you using? So if you want to develop a website, the first thing I would recommend is HTML, like enough said. Use Notepad. I mean, you can use VS Code, which is what I'm using. I think it is Notepad. I think Notepad is like a very old tool now. You can totally use HTML, much easier to like create with something that you have like syntax highlighting in. So I'll create like a new index HTML file, and then you can do HTML language n HTML. Like you see how it's already kind of giving you this syntax highlighting, and it's also giving you hints. So much easier to like code and remember the syntax when you're doing in a code editor like this. So start with HTML and then CSS. Start with HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Those three are the fundamentals of the web. Actually, I might have something that could help you. Hold on. Okay, here is a checklist that I put together. My VS Code doesn't look like that. It probably doesn't look like that because you don't have the extension installed. So this is all of the things that you need to learn in order to understand how to build a site, starting with like the main tag, structural elements, like the semantic elements, including CSS, JavaScript. So feel free to fork this and just go through and like tick this off as you go through this. And then the next bit is also like learning React, then learning a front-end library like Redux API. Granted, this is a little bit outdated, so ignore that if that is the case. But for the most part, this is pretty updated. When was the last time? I added this in 4 years ago. But I would start off here. And all of these links that I've linked to are actually free resources. And at the bottom, there's also a learning process. So start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then build a project that highlights those. Add your name, photo, and stuff using HTML, CSS. Then learn Git and version control, which is actually the more important than HTML, than like building React, I would say. Add your portfolio to GitHub, and then step up with your knowledge. Then do a project, do another project, step up your knowledge, do another project. Get a job, get a freelance job, add to your portfolio, add to your LinkedIn. So I hope you find that useful. I just added this in the chat. Hey Kushal, nice to see you. Sophie Cool, good to see you here. Good to see you coding again. You just wait. I have something coming for you, which is gonna be like really short timeline, Sophie Cool. So I hope you're ready. You guys, Sophie Cool is my editor. He's the one who edited this useref video. So if you like the editing, you can thank him. Where is it? Here. Also, if you haven't watched this video, you gotta go and watch this. Is WebStorm a good choice? Yeah, WebStorm is really cool actually. I used to use WebStorm before I added lost my train of thought. Oh yes, I used to use WebStorm before I moved on to VS Code, but I think WebStorm is free for open source now, and I like WebStorm quite a lot. Actually, in my VS Code, I still use WebStorm bindings because I'm so used to the key bindings. Do you think you'll create another React course? Have you seen my React course already, Eddie? I feel like you mentioned that you already came from the O'Reilly React course, but correct me if I'm wrong. I am working on another React course on Udemy, which is going to be focused on React hooks. But if there is something else that you want to see, let me know. I feel like I need to create like a page that has all of these links, so I don't keep copy pasting links over and over again. Alrighty, let's keep going. What was I doing? Yes, recommended items. Okay, let's delete this file. Delete. Where is delete option? Delete. Honestly, I feel like WebStorm is a better editor than VS Code is. Some of the things, like for example, just like deleting, WebStorm has pretty easily available. if WebStorm was free at the time when I switched, I would have still been on WebStorm. Oh, everybody's gonna hate me for saying this. Okay, what are we doing? Right. Oh, wait. What? Unexpected reserved word. Oh, yeah. Let's clean this up. Oh, also, before you all leave, I have a poll that I've been doing in the last few streams, and I'm going to do it again, which is, what time works for you for this live stream? I'm thinking of moving the live stream in March. So here are 3 options that work for me. Mind you, these times are in PST. And okay, so here are 3 options. Let me know which one of these works for you. I'm trying to mix it up a bit so that people from different parts of the world can make it comfortably. So let me know which one do you prefer. I might also choose to pick one option one week and another option another week, if there is kind of like mixed voting. Nish. Hi, Nish. I think I'm seeing you here for the first time, so welcome. I'm using a lot of AI code completion nowadays, and it's now starting to doubt my problem solving and fundamental skills. How do I solve this? How do you stay updated at the same time, revise topics too? How many years of experience do you have, Nish? That's the thing with like AI code editors. Like if you just keep copy pasting code, you tend to just rely on them. So one thing that I would recommend, actually I showed this yesterday, is yesterday we picked up a Figma file that we had been creating in this live stream for our design. And then you'll see here, this is the file actually that it created. So this is the preview version, but this is the code. Now what you could do is you could just like literally copy paste this over and then put it in your like app. But if you did that, you wouldn't have learned anything. Now there's a really cool things, some really cool things that you can learn from the code that this AI produced for you, but it does not mean that you should just copy paste. So what you should do is take this, maybe put it in another file, and then pick the items that work for you. And if you probably saw when I just started the stream, I had a page here called like page.tsx, and that's what I was doing. I was picking the properties and the styles that I like while also keeping up my coding skills. So I was learning as I was going, but also I wasn't just like blindly copy pasting code. And that's the same way with like Stack Overflow code as well when there was no AI code editor. You can find code, like we've found code all this time, but in order to make sure that the code is accurate and that you actually understand what you're writing, it is important that you actually take time to evaluate it, read it, understand it. 1 year as a React Native developer. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so that's what I would suggest. Because basically, while AI is writing code for you, you should know that you should already predict, or you should be able to predict what code you want. And then if you feel like you don't understand the code it's writing, take a moment to read the code that it's wrote. Maybe it's actually written wrong code, and you as an engineer need to know that. But perhaps it is a moment for you to understand something. What were the 3 options? The 3 options are, actually it's in YouTube in case you are not on YouTube, Eddie. Ah, that emoji. You know, I had this like emoji effect that when you used an emoji, it would show up all across the screen. Let me see if I can add that. I really used to like it. Emote wall. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's add this. Oh yeah, this plugin is broken. That's what happened last time. Okay, this is what happens when I code. I get totally distracted. I have really bad ADHD. So anytime I'm like talking and live streaming, this is like the worst. I don't know how I'm able to get any like code written. But okay, let's do this. What were we doing? We were copy pasting stuff. I'm going to copy this from here. And then I'm gonna export default this stuff here. Use action, I need property actions, I need this from here. And then what else do I need? I need import API for sure. Let's bring that over. Then use effect apparently. Use effect. Okay, I don't need use effect because I'm using React query. Property actions, it says we don't need it. Property actions does what? Oh, that's within property card, so let's get rid of this. Nice to have features, let's get rid of that. Okay, all right, so and then also let's move over this app CSS as well. What else do you want? Properties listings, so let's bring that over. Come on, help me bring it over. Sorry for distracting you. No, you're fine. It's not you who's distracting me. It's myself distracting. It's me distracting myself. Okay, and then my phone keeps going off. I can check YouTube. Hi again, Krishna. How are you? Good to see you here. It's been a while. Alrighty, set recommended properties. And then actually don't even need to set recommended properties with use query, which is what I'm going to end up doing here. And then what is this recommended properties? I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, if no recommended properties, what do you want? Hold on, what do you want? Fix using augment. No. So this is going to be... I'm just going to do this. Okay. All right. What else do we need? Okay, I'm going to try if the emote works. Let's see. What about here? I don't know what that means. I feel like the emote wall doesn't work, which is fine. Maybe somebody try putting some emoji in the chat. Let's see if it works. Oh, I feel like this is lagging. Let me see, is this lagging? Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this because I feel like this really lags. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, Kodesh, thank you. I just ended up removing. Like it lags the system quite a bit. But I'll add that later. Okay, what were we doing? Recommended properties. Okay. Now what we have to do is, so when do we generate recommendations? We generate recommendations when we have a liked property. When we have a property we liked, which means that we have property listings and then we have the property details. And then we have this handle like function. This handle like calls a save property, which should trigger. So once we like a property, then we should trigger a handle. Then we should trigger a recommendations. So how are we going to do that? Now this is a question for the audience. How do we know that a property has been liked? So this function, this handle like function, this is actually in this button attached to this like button. But when we like this button, we need to send information to this app JSX that a property has been liked and we should generate more properties like that. How can we do that? I'm going to lower my chair. Meanwhile, think about it. Let me know in the chat. Maybe I'll share my screen while I do that. Okay. I think that's the question I'm going to wait for. Tell me, how would we know which property has been liked when the property is here and our recommendations is actually on the app level, app.jsx level? How do we send that data out to the, how do we send that data out to the parent component? Any music recommendations? Music recommendations. Context? I love that you said context. Lifting the state up, yes. How should we lift the state up? I feel like this is a hard question. Declare the state and parent, pass it to child. So that actually wouldn't work here because this child is the one that initiates the state update. So when you like a property, this is the child component, it needs to update the app component, which then actually shares it with another component within the app file. And that is where the recommendation should be popped up. So this is actually not lifting state up as much as it is communicating the state out to other components. Maintaining a state variable on the top level. We could maintain a state variable on the top level, but the problem with that is just what we were seeing right now, which is now you have to pass set functions down to this component like this. Like button and dislike button. So now you are passing around set components, set functions around. So it's the same problem as prop drilling. But you are right on the context. That is what we're going to do. If we add context and add our necessary functions within that provider, within that context provider, we'll be able to retrieve information on when context was updated, which is when a property was liked. So let's do that. Let's create a context. Now here's an important thing, right? Context is actually tricky as well, because for context, anytime you have components within that context boundary, anything within that updates when the context updates. So you also have to be careful about where you're gonna put your provider, right? So here are some options. So this is our app.jsx file. What we could do is put our context provider right here. So I'm just going to create like context provider. Right? Now what happens is anytime this context updates, every component in here updates, which sucks. But we could probably move it down closer. Featured section doesn't need it, so we can minimize this featured section. In fact, move it out to another component itself. Is loading, is error, doesn't need that. Section search listings. Search listings doesn't need it. However, search listings is the one that initiates the update in state. So this would be a right place for context provider, and then move this up down right next to the recommendations list as well. So now we only have two components that are connected with context. So this is the minimum thing we can do with React, just with using React. Using the context is not good. One state change will trigger other. Exactly. That's exactly the point I'm talking about. So this is the minimum stuff that we can do by just using context provider, by just using use context. Now, if we don't even want, there are, of course, when you have property listings, you have like multiple properties. So even with that, it's still not a good solution, because property listings is actually our heaviest component. So if you want to go better than this, you'll have to add a new library. But today, we're not going to add a new library. I'm going to show you how to do this with just context. It's not going to be optimal, but I want to show you how to do it with just context without using an external library. Of course, at this point, you could have like Redux, you could have Zustand. Actually, we could add Zustand after this. But I'm going to show you how to do this with just context. I feel like we were here like 2 days ago. But okay, let's do this. So like we know, context provider is not the right solution here, but that's all React can do. So let's actually try seeing if we can add Zustand. How many of you know Zustand? Say yes, no Zustand, or no if you don't know Zustand. Zustand. Let me know if you do know Zustand or if you're new to Zustand. Let's go. Yes, let's go. I'm going to remove this context provider. And then what I want to do here is, okay, so this is my first time installing Zustand. So let's look at the documentation. It says, no, never done. Cool. Your store is a hook. You can put anything in it, primitives, objects, functions. State has to be updated immutably, and this set function merges state to help it. So basically what Zustand is, it's actually like a combination of use state and Redux. So think of a lightweight Zustand. I've heard of it but never used it. Cool, perfect, same. Heard it, never used it, only read the documentation before, but today we're gonna actually use it. So it's like a lightweight use state, lightweight Redux, but think of it as like use state, context, and Redux combined. All right, so let's do this. So you import, the first thing it says is import create from Zustand and then create a store. So we'll create this in like a new file, and then you just bind your components where you want to use it. So it says use the hook anywhere, no providers are needed. So you got a counter, you use bear store, and then because you have like the setter functions, increase population and remove all bears, you can just call it. So you know how many bears there are. Because you get that from the bear store, and then you can call the functions. That's all we need, right? So for handle like, what basically we want to do is something like set recommended property, and then we just want to add a property here, right? So we want to add a property, and I'm only going to add like one property. Handle this like save property. Do they even have a property in here? Const property is this. We're not using this, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay, so we've got handle like save property, save this, property IDs. Okay, we don't actually have this, so I'm gonna create this const property is, clean this up a bit. All right, this, and then for save property, I'm gonna say property, and then also set recommended property. Meanwhile, okay, set recommended property. And we need to create a store. So let's go ahead and create a store in our Explorer. We're going to create an app. I don't know why there is an app folder. Let's delete this folder. Delete. Move to trash. Okay. So I'm going to create a new folder here called store. Oh, wait. I thought I said folder. Store. Delete. Move to trash. Okay. And it's going to be recommended property.js. And then all I'm going to do is import create from Zustand. I really like this word. const used recommended property create set. Okay, here's somebody was asking, right? Like AI is making me lose my skills. So here's what I typically do. When AI is putting out code for me, I have to make sure that I'm reading it, right? So recommended property is set recommended property set the recommended property to be that property. Perfect. And then what else do I need? I think that's all I need. I could add recommended properties. I could add recommended properties in here. And the reason is when I set a recommended property, I think the naming is a bit confusing. So what happens is when you like a property, we want to set that as the liked property and then set like property. Similarly, if you dislike a property, I also want to keep that in the disliked property and then set disliked property. And then my recommended properties is my similarity search with the like property, that is the property that I clicked like on, and dissimilarity from the disliked property. So it should be farther from the disliked property but closer to the like property, disliked property, and recommended properties. So that's what I'm going to create here. And then I think I probably need to export this. I thought I have to export this. Bind your components like that. Okay, export default, use recommended property. Alrighty, and then I'm just gonna call it a details function, which is here, and then I'm gonna get handle like. So I'm gonna set I'm gonna set liked property to be property, and then I'm going to call my store there, and then handle dislike, set this property is property. Okay, and then this is going to update the store. All right, save property. Let's just make sure that I haven't broken anything yet. Zustand, I added that. Let's give it a reload. Let's make sure that it is working so far. Okay, where is this coming from? Unexpected in recommended properties. Where is this? Return generated recommendations. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, that's because I've got this. Fetch recommendations equals async recommended. I've got a function here, and then I'm going to minimize this. Alrighty, what is your problem? Expected comma. I don't understand what that means. Properties dot length greater than 0. Okay, got this, got that. Got this. I don't know. What do you want? Oh, there. Okay. I hate messing with brackets. Alright, you know what? Shift Command I. I guess we're using an API for getting all these properties, and why are we using a backend server? Oh, we're actually not using an API just to get, we're not just using an API, we're using the backend server because we're generating recommendations on our server. The recommendations are not the API, they are being generated by us. We're the ones generating it on the server. That's our server API. Help me fix this syntax error. Okay, what's the problem? I was missing a bracket. 2 brackets. Isn't that section supposed to start right after ampersand ampersand? That's what I have. Oh, hold on. Am I going crazy? Okay, you know what? Command X. Clean this up. And div. Okay, you have a problem with that? How about that? You have a problem with that? How about that? Okay. That. Alright, let's see. Okay, that. And then in the same line. Okay. Save. Okay, okay. Whew. All right, now paste this over. Get rid of this, get rid of this. One step at a time. Okay. Recommend properties. Properties. Oh my goodness. Properties. And oh, there is no recommended properties. Okay, you know what? It's driving me crazy. Oh, finally. Okay. Recommended properties dot length greater than 0 and this. Alrighty. Okay, what do you want now? Failed to resolve the import. Okay. That's probably because this lives in that. Import API from, I know, right? We do need issues that drive you insane and make you question your decade worth of experience because of a stupid brace. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out. Okay, what else? What is the problem now? Does the file exist? Convex is running. Reload this. Are you kidding me? Okay, I think convex probably something happened, so let's restart it. I need a job. I'm a front-end developer. Please help me. Age 17. Wow, you're so young. Don't freak out. That's what I would say. You're only at age 17. You can start actually freelancing if you need a job right now. You can freelance on Fiverr or Upwork. Fiverr is actually one of my favorite websites, or Upwork, and find a job there. You can also apply locally or on LinkedIn. Oh, the requested module does not provide an export name. Use recommended property. Export default. Are you kidding me? Oh, use recommended property. It's actions. Let's comment this out. Let me make sure this is running before I start seeing issues. Recommended property, where is it getting from? Okay, use recommended property from store. Recommended property does not provide an export named use recommended property. That should be fixed. Alright, cannot read properties of symbol. The problem is that I think it's probably cannot read property of undefined, which is fine. Okay. Hey Tech Freak, how's it going? I am from... Okay, I'm seeing the poll as well on the YouTube channel, so thank you so much to everybody who's voted. Still some more time to vote for this. This poll will be open until we stream. The question is, what time works for you for a live stream for season 3? And there are 3 options: 10:30, 5:30 p.m. PST, and 9:30 p.m. PST. So go ahead and pick a choice if you haven't picked yet. It'll be available on YouTube. And I should probably give a link to YouTube. And I'm trying to decide the time for the next season stream, which is going to be in March. 2 more days, actually. Can you believe it? We're almost at March. I thought the year just started. By the way, how's everybody's going? Did you keep it, lose it, or about to start it? Alrighty, let's go ahead and fix this. Let's go ahead and fix this. Let's go ahead and fix this. Now let's see who's crying. Failed to resolve import API. Okay, I want to resolve import API. I think this is where I got it from. Import API from X. So I'm in components, and then I gotta go, where is convex? 1, 2, oh. One of my goals actually this year was actually get back into working out regularly. I've been having this goal for so long. Excuse me. But I feel like finally I've been able to maintain a consistent workout schedule. Buddies before, especially in the Tech Hustlers Discord. But you guys, I found a friend who became my accountability buddy to go to workout and to go to gym. And that has changed my schedule so stay on my goals so well. Every Tuesday and Thursday we go to gym together, and some days I'm feeling low and I just text her. I'm like, and then when I get her text like, hey, we're going to her down, so I guess I'll go. And then some days when she's feeling low and I'm and I'm the one who texts her, and I tell her, hey, let's go to the gym. She's like, it helps a lot in keeping you motivated. Yeah, Eddie, thank you for joining. So, like I said, accountability buddies are super helpful. Another thing that I wanted to keep a consistent schedule for committing code to GitHub. And I am so proud to show you my contribution chart for this year. I have never been able to like look at this. This is when I was working full time to code. But look at this. Starting January 1, how consistent I have been. Pretty much every week I've been contributing like 4 to 5 times. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this year, my graph is going to look a lot better. And the thing that has helped me keep going is the fact that I know that I have to come up here makes me want to code something and build this app and build this together. So what I'm trying to say is the fact that you get other people to hold you accountable helps in achieving the goals a lot easier, as opposed to just you trying to push and go against your fight for that motivation and trying to get your goals by yourself. So if you've been wanting to achieve a goal that you feel like you're still lagging behind, ability buddy helps a lot. Okay, what was we doing? I think it's that point in the night where my brain is trying to shut down. So we're going to stream for like 10 more minutes and then we're going to call it a night. Undefined property. Cannot read properties of undefined. Where is that? Probably somewhere here. Recommended properties, dot length, and from. Okay. Recommended properties. Actually, what we need is a let's go to Zustand and see the code for use bear store. Okay, this is what we need. I need the store, and I need the state dot, not recommended properties but liked property, because actually what I need is the disliked property as well, but for now I'm actually going to like property, because that will help me set the recommended property. So I'm going to use this to send it over to my generate recommendation function, which is actually going to be in India you studied in convent school. Like property. Alright, so we got recommended properties, like properties, set recommended properties. Where is this coming from? It's to be dot sets. What set state? Okay, so look at this again. Set state, I'm pretty sure, does not exist as a function in Zustand. But AI will create this like random functions for you. So when you're writing code, just the code that it's giving is actually the right code. Okay, so what we need to do is actually we need to call use recommended properties. What is this? Population state dot increase population. So I'm going to get that here. We need set recommended properties, and you get that state, and you get state dot set recommended properties. All right, and then this is fine here. Then you want to fetch set recommendations using that, and then the properties that you get back from recommended properties. Actually, I'm going to call this kind of confusing. How about that? All right, properties result. And now the set recommended properties is actually gonna be a data which you can pull from here. And again, to do that, I'm gonna zoop, and then I'm gonna zoip, and then I'm gonna get recommended properties from state dot recommended properties, and then that is what I'm gonna use in here. All right. Okay, cannot read properties of undefined, some other errors. Cannot read properties of undefined recommendations. What is the use action? Oh, I think I deleted use action, right? Okay, who's calling fetch recommendations? Generate. And then we get fetch recommendations. No, that's not what I want to do. So where is the issue? I think generate recommendation. So I'm gonna remove this, see if that fixes. Okay, that is the line that has issue. So now if I hit like, what do I see? I see an error, not defined. Set liked property comes from property card. Like property is here, and the reason why we're getting this is because we have not done this bit in here. So let's go ahead and do that. We have Zustand in here, so let's add that. Set liked property, this is going to be set liked property, state set liked property, and we don't need any of this, and actually we need disliked as well. So I'm gonna duplicate this, set disliked property, and we don't need recommended properties here. Get rid of this. Okay, we've got set liked property, disliked property. Set liked property is not defined at handle like. Handle like is here. Set liked property is also here. Why do you say that? I'm gonna minimize save property. Set liked property. I think it's disliked property. Use recommended property from state dot set liked set disliked property. Okay. Okay, like this. Okay, I don't see an error, which is good. And if I dislike, I don't see an error, which is good. Okay, cool. So I still don't have recommended properties, but that should be an easy fix, or at least I hope so. Okay, if I go ahead in here, generate recommendations. All right, I'm trying to get back that error. Cannot read properties of undefined symbol function name. Where is that coming from? I believe it is coming from this use action stuff, and that is convex react. Okay, I actually have a bug in my code right here, and that's likely a copy paste mistake. So I'm gonna go into my GitHub. I think I could just do this. Okay, I think that probably should work. And then reload. All right, now if I at what age did you write your first code? 13. Yeah, I was 13. My first code was code as in logo. Does logo count? Because logo was my first program. But my first HTML site that I built was in grade 8. I was 13. Okay, now if I hit like, I'm not seeing any errors, and if I dislike, I'm not seeing any errors. So that is a good thing. But do I have recommended properties coming in? I have no idea. So I'm going to do some, oh, of course I don't, because I don't have this fetch recommendation being called anywhere. So I'm going to do this. But there might obviously be an error, but undefined or null to object. At fetch recommendations, line 21. Generate recommend. Oh, okay. At light property. What is the problem? It says it is a. Oh, I'm totally getting a 500 for my server. Okay, if I hit like, nothing comes. Nobody's crying though. I only have 20 properties. Nobody's crying, which is a good thing. Okay, let's log. I need recommendations, console.log, recommended properties. All right, recommended properties is null, object. Okay, you know what? We shouldn't be calling fetch recommendations on this. We should be calling it when like property changes. So then what I need is actually a click. Okay, this is an interesting problem. Oh, can inform components transiently without causing state changes. I think I might need to use a subscribe. Okay, so it actually has a function called dot subscribe, use docstore dot subscribe, and use docstore dot set state. Wait, why do we have a set state here? Subscribe with selector. You subscribe with selector docstore dot subscribe. Listening to selected changes, in this case when paw changes. So let's do that. What I want to do here is when like property changes, so I'll do const. Oh, I could do that. I think it says you can actually put it in use effect. Best combined with use effect for automatically unsubscribe on unmount. This can make a drastic performance impact where you're allowed to mutate the view directly. Okay, let's do that. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do use effect, and I'm gonna make my UI AI like not talk to me much. I'm gonna create the use recommended store. Use recommended store. Okay, I don't like that it's called this. I'm gonna rename this to be properties. So alright, use recommended properties store. It's probably updated everywhere. Okay, use recommended properties store dot subscribe, and I'm gonna subscribe to state dot liked property. Okay, a dependency array. Okay, now if I know this property, then every time I like a new property, it should actually give me a new like property. Okay, and then I might need to add like property in here, but let's test this out. Okay, use effect is not defined. Okay, now I've got like property null, which is what I know. Now if I like, not getting it back yet. State dot liked property. Am I setting it correctly in my property listings? Property actions actually. Okay, on dislike, where is this dislike coming from? Property card. On dislike is coming from property details. Okay, set like property, use recommended properties, set like property. And then when you handle like, you wanna set like property to be the property. But then if I log this console log out of okay state, oh wait, why am I logging state? That's the problem. Const, hold on, I may need to okay, if I like this, but then I believe I'll need to actually create this in another variable. Okay, I think we can pause this here. What we are going through right now is an error with the subscription. But I think this will be a good point to stop this here. I'm going to commit this, add a work in progress. Getting error with, I think the UI looks good, so it's fine. Okay, push this, and then tomorrow I'm actually going to come back and fix this. I'm going to try to fix this offline and then walk you through what the problem was. I think the problem is kind of simple, but I don't have the brain cells to do that right now. But basically, when I like this, I want to see this, and then subscribe. And actually what you could do is you could just say console log state. So if you subscribe to every change in state, you could just console log state, and then click like. You see, I'm getting that, no problem at all. Oh, but the problem is, the recommended property. I know what the problem is. The recommended property is being set to this liked thing, and I think that is in property actions, property details, set dislike when I say set dislike property, that is in handle like. Then why am I getting this in recommended property? Okay, who's calling recommended property? Like property is this, recommended is this, recommended property is this, generate recommendation type is that, console log use effect. And then when you like a property, which is in property card, you get property details, property thumbs up, on click is on like, which comes from property actions, property listing. Oh, there are so many boxes here. Render properties, save property, set like property. Then what you do, oh, you know what, I think the problem is in the store itself. So if you go back, recommendation property store, I'm gonna rename this. Okay, so when you set liked, we don't want to set at the liked property. That's what the problem is. And then same with disliked property. Okay, and then when you do the like property, set like property, dislike property, set disliked, recommended and dislike, that, then if you click like here, now we should perfect. That is what the problem was. Now I'm pretty sure if I go back into this and log what I was logging before, I should be getting now I want to log not state, but I want to log state dot liked property, and when something is liked, I actually want to call the recommendations. And for fetch recommendation, it actually sends me, I want to use a property, use that no, I just wanna generate recommendations. That's what I want to do. Fetch recommendations, I want to get properties resolved, and I want to get generate recommendations using this property, and then that's all I need. And then I will also set properties with that result. Okay, and so when I do console log, what I want to do is call the fetch recommendations with state.liked property. Okay, who has a problem? What? Subscribe dot liked property, fetch recommendations. State dot liked property. Okay, could I just do liked property? Subscribe. I think I might need to do subscribe state. Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, if you're following this so far and this makes sense to you, tell me this makes sense. Or if you're totally lost and you're like, what is this woman doing? Tell me I'm lost. Because I'm a little lost. Whew. Okay. Who's with me? Who have I lost? Now, are you still here? Or have you... Okay. I said we will stop here, but we're still going. I think I know what the problem is. I think the problem is that we're actually subscribing to the state. We're listening to state.state-like property. And then if the like property exists, then the next is actually our listener event, which is what we're doing right now. So if like property exists, then we fetch recommendations on that like. I'm going to console like this like property. Liked property. And I think the next problem is actually coming from convex and not Zustand, which is a good thing. Okay. Okay. So I've got, what do I have? I have I don't need this. If like, is going to console log this like property as well. And then if I hit like, I'm getting, okay, I'm getting this console log, but nobody should be listening to this console log. I'm going to provide it a function here, subscribe this, and then you provide what function, right? So you subscribe to that, and then you provided which function? So I am actions. Okay. Check. Okay, somebody's here. Somebody's still with me. Thank you. Fetch recommendations with like property. Okay, then get rid of this. Alrighty. Now, if I've done everything right, I should be seeing the new like properties in here. I did not think this would be this hard, honestly. Alrighty, try an example search. Hit me. Like. Okay. Okay, like. State.like property. Oh, hold on. Subscribe when state.subscribe. Why did you choose JavaScript over TypeScript? That is a great over TypeScript because I'm the only person working on this. And then when I started this project, I only had JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Then when I was about to create a app for directors that I was working on, I added React. It is now in a state where it's actually ready to be migrated over to TypeScript. I just haven't had time to move it over to TypeScript yet. Actually, I have to upgrade to Tailwind v4, and I'm thinking that move to Tailwind v4 and start adding more components. I'm actually going to upgrade it to TypeScript. But before I do that, I actually want to add all of the features that I've been adding. Oh, maybe I need to fire immediately. Okay. Console log the property state.like property, and then if I do that, I'm pretty sure this would work totally fine. But what if I do console.log? Okay, let's try. I just joined. Could you do a quick duck program? What problem we're trying to solve? Yeah, so I am actually creating a real estate search in which we have a bunch of different properties, and if you click on like a property, you should be able to see more properties like that. We are using AI and Convex and Tanstack and Zustand and React and Tailwind and what else did I forget? In this. But the error that I'm seeing is that when I click on like, I'm actually not seeing the console log that I should be seeing. Okay, you know what? I am gonna like property. So you better give this to me. Okay, console.log like property. Okay, now if I, okay, that does log it. So if that is working, then why don't you do the recommendations with the like property, just like I told you to? Oh, cannot access fetch recommendations. Okay, now you better behave. Object is missing the required field property. Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, now if I like, oh, okay. The problem is fine. It's not from Zustand. I have like property. Where is this coming from? Here it is, like property. I don't know why it says like property, but it should actually be property. And then if I delete this, and then if I click this, I should be able to see my property in here. Right. The problem is actually that we're sending this property over, but Convex expects it in a required field property. So why don't we just zoop it? Why don't we just zoop it like that? Okay. So if I do delete, and then if I do that, and then if I do from there, which is good, and then what is my properties result? Console.log properties result. Get rid of my, and now if I clear this, and if I, oh my god, it's giving too many. That's because I think I need to add this to a use effect. It's actually giving me recommended properties. So Control X and only do it once. Whew. Alrighty, and now if I hit refresh, then I think I need to add like liked property in here. Okay, I did not say liked property. Reload this. Then if I hit like, that I got properties result. This is exactly what I needed. Look at that. So now at the bottom, I'm actually displaying properties, believe it or not. I'll show you in the component. So this is what we've been doing. If you click like on this, right, we actually show you a list of property results that match the property that you just liked. So these are all the properties that you liked, and that is our recommendation engine. So this is working well. We added Zustand today. So I'll do a quick recap of what we did. We added this library called Zustand plus Redux version. You can think of it like a lightweight use state and Redux version. But what it does is it actually is a lightweight store. So you create it in one component, like you create the store, read it by calling it as a use state. What does that subscribe method mean? It's supposed to like listen to it. It's kind of like an event listener. So when you like something, like when you like this, it'll be able to update it. So what we do is in this property, so if you like something, we want to generate this list of recommended properties again, which is actually we're showing at the bottom. And then when you like something again, we want to generate that list of recommended properties again. So at the bottom, this is actually giving us now a list of properties that we think were high, 0.95. This is a list of properties that we think match the property that you liked. So that is the recap for today. Today, we added Zustand. We're able to read from a store. We also were able to click a like button in one component and then read that state in a completely, and we did that by lifting state up using Zustand. So I hope this you, if this made sense, tell me this made sense. And if this did not make sense, tell me what is Zustand and I will make a video on that. Zustand working, recommendations generated. Push. Poof, this was a lot today, huh? Okay. So I hope that was fun to you. I had a lot of fun adding Zustand. Gonna use Zustand for my web app I'm currently building. Yeah, give it a try. Like, I think it was a lot easier to use than I thought. The little bit of confusing stuff for me was there's a question in here, which is why is there a second parameter to subscribe? So basically when you subscribe, it's like an event listener, right? When you want to listen to an event, you also want to respond it with a function, with like a console. I'll go back to the code here. So where is it? Oh, here. Let me move this. Okay, so exactly this property. So this is the state, right? But out of this state, we're picking up one single slice of that state, which is the like property. And then when something changes, we want to fetch recommendations. So this is how we respond to the changes. So log here, and then every time like property changes, it would console log. So that's what we're doing. That makes sense. This was a lot of fun to do. I had not tried Zustand before this stream. Like, I had read it, but I had not tried. it. So my verdict on this is it's super easy to add, super easy to use, super easy to consume actually. I think and I am gonna see if I can make a pull request for the documentation to improve the documentation. But I think overall I like this library. Super simple to use. Let me know. And if you're joining here for the very first time, or this is the first time you're coming to the stream, I want to remind you, we are doing a 3,000 sub celebration. Also, we reached our goal yesterday. So we're going to do celebration on Friday and we're going to make chai together. I'm going to make chai. You can make chai with me and I'm going to answer your questions. You can ask me any React question, AI, or questions about which tools to use. Anything you want to ask me. I am also taking requests if anybody wants to do a resume review or wants to get their resume completely free of charge. You have to pay nothing. It's just a thank you that I'm just a way for me to say thank you for you. Thank you. Thank you for following. Wow, words are hard today. Thank you for following me and thank you for being part of this journey. So we're doing a 3,000 sub. But the fetch function was already invoked in subscribe, isn't it? No, it's not. So the subscribe function change an event, but then how you want to change to it, or how do you want to respond to that subscription, you can define that. How do you want to respond to that change? You can define that with the subscribe. If this is confusing to you, here's a documentation. That might help. And I was talking about the 3,000 sub celebration. I also want to share the link to that. That is going to happen on February 28th at 10:30 a.m. I hope to see you there. It'll be a lot of fun. We did like a 2,000 sub celebration. Coffee please, no chai. I'm going to make chai. You can make coffee. So make sure you come and join me on 3,000 sub celebration. And there's also going to be another free resource for you. There's going to be a free React ebook for you, which is something that I'm putting together right now. I have like 6 pages written for that already. I'm going to hand it over for free in that it's a chat. And now that my brain is dead and it's hard for me to say words, I'm going to say bye. And thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow at 9:30. Building today, add a recommendation page and add a properties details page. And that will bring the functionality of our app to a complete. So tomorrow and day after, we're going to wrap up this app so that we can build demo. I will see you tomorrow. Bye guys.